favored for the shaman than it is for priest, but you know, if we've seen anything today, I am not counting out priest, especially if they get that 1, 2, 3 punch.
Yep. I said it earlier, but you got to draw your correct side of the deck for that matchup.
Yeah.
So we're talking Perpetual Flames, Canal Sloggers. Those are the goods. Fr0zen keeps Diligent Note Taker and is shaking his head because he threw away a Dungeoneer and got back another mediocre 3-drop for the matchup. He wants specifically the ability to tempo out early. This is not a good opening hand. He wants Lightning Bloom. He wants Perpetual Flame, Lightning Bolt, Serpent Shrine Portal, Feral Spirits. All of those and none of these. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. You know what does look like a good hand, though, is Language Hacker's hand. It looks pretty nice.
Delicious.
A lot of options.
Delicioso.
I mean, Language Hacker can go for an early, maybe Void Touch, Coin, Og Merchant if he wants. He can go for the Homunculus. He could even wait and do a turn 3 Gandling and the Murloc, but gotta do something.
The world is his oyster, basically what it comes down to. I imagine it's going to be holding the coin for Gandling, like you said, and probably going for just double one. Oh, wow. Holy moly.
Well, this might be one of those times where Priest beats Shaman, based off of what we're seeing with these hands here. It's like you said, it's not a good hand for Fr0zen, and this is a fantastic hand for Language Hacker.
Fr0zen's hand got better with the Feral Spirit, especially if this Diligent Note Taker survives, but I imagine with such a powerful play lined up for turn 3 that Language Hacker is perfectly fine with just taking the ping here. And Feral Spirits could be problematic, but there's going to be a ton of stats on board for Language Hacker, and it's not going to stop either, because if the Gandling lives, then there's going to be a ton of stuff loaded up next turn. The best things to play with the Gandling are things that either cost nothing, like the Tiny Fin, or things that have a battle cry effect that also then turn into 4/4s.
Right. Yeah, and I guess Fr0zen could find something from this Marsh spawn as well. The Canal Sucker.
Oh,
there's a flame. TJ. He found the cards.
Things are looking up.
Okay. Well, Gandling.
Class dismissed.
And then probably a coin augment onto the Gandling to protect it. That sounds really good. That sounds nice.
Yes, it does.
That's an upgrade. Probably.
Vine Shield too, right before that Perpetual Flame, plus the 4 health on these failed students. Oh, amazing from Language Hacker's perspective. Spell damage.
Yeah. Could trade the Overdraft to find spell damage. There's 2 zappers. Does not play. Does play Wand Makers, but then we're looking at a lot of mana expenditure to actually get to that point. But if he thinks that his mana is already accounted for, he can go for it. Serpent Shrine Portal.
Yeah. Just gonna go for the Slogger here. Clear off that Gambling.
Yeah, and it would set up for probably a pretty good Perpetual Flame the next turn. He could also, he's at 1 out of 3 quest completion, so he could go for like Serpent Shrine Portal Lightning Bolt instead of the Slogger, so the healing isn't wasted, and then he completes quest and unlocks next turn with the full 6.
It's quiet. Too quiet.
Oh.
Maybe he's deciding if he actually wants to trade into a failed student and go for a Perpetual, but that feels like it does have a chance to fail, which feels pretty bad.
Fr0zen actually also giving up some information there too with the like point 1 mana remaining, like a spell point, which could influence Language Hacker's decision to go for Mind Render this turn if he thinks he can not only pass back over Fr0zen some not that great stuff, but also get some more value out of it. But the problem is, I think he would be giving Fr0zen actual things to play, like Cold Neophyte, Twilight Deceptor, which is not the best. He wouldn't be setting up for guaranteed 2-turn lethal.
Yeah, I think just developing here seems pretty solid. And also with the Merchant coming down, more health on board. Just keep the plan of playing around Perpetual Flame going as long as possible. And if he's going for that, maybe he doesn't want to trade?
Maybe. Yeah.
Trades 1. Okay.
No littering.
Again, Perpetual Flame feels a little bit awkward.
Just how many minions is he going to kill before it gets stopped on the Traveling Merchant? This is going to be a pretty big deal. If he can get like at least 2, that would be good. The other option is just play Wand Maker and
Let's go for it.
Yeah. Oh no!
Oh, Language Hacker. He's pumped for that result.
Yeah, and this will almost certainly be dump your cards and play the Mind Render or Lucia. Yeah. This would be 14 damage to face if he trades over the Cult Neophyte, and then it'd be setting up for a 2-turn lethal. Absolutely, and that should lock things up.
Say your thoughts with the class now.
Unless there's a taunt totem? Nah.
No.
Even
Guess
then,
it depends.
your power. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. All right.
Scoops it up. Language Hacker takes game number 1. And Fr0zen didn't have the greatest start, but actually started picking up the right cards. But a good amount of power from Language Hacker, and then not a good outcome from the Perpetual Flame led to a loss in a favorable matchup for Fr0zen. That's not what you want to see.
Yeah. Losing unfavorable like that feels pretty rough. I feel like especially starting out the series that way. No, I'm not sure how much that kind of thing can get to Fr0zen, like from a mental aspect, but losing the first game can feel pretty rough, and especially as an a favorable for him. Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah.
He's just gonna have to roll into the next one, and he can still get there. It's definitely not over, but Language Hacker gonna queue up the Garrote Rogue next after taking the win with the Shadow Priest.
Yeah, but this one's a little bit different from the ones we've seen. Language Hacker opting to go for Mankrik instead of Kazakus, which is really the only noticeable difference. Also doesn't include the Foxy Frauds, instead decide for the 1-up Penflinger and the double Brain Freeze. So I kind of like this. I think Sottle and Raven said it earlier, that Mankrik is kind of like just a +1 spell damage bleed that's always in your deck, ready to be pulled out at any moment.
Right.
Oh! The dynamic duo.
Well, this is also a matchup. I was even going to talk about this. This is also kind of an interesting matchup. For anyone that has watched Gia's mullet over video on Garrote Rogue, highly recommend that. It's this play she talks about is kind of interesting in this matchup because there is the chance that the Quest Shaman could have something like the Zapper and the Perpetual Flame to clear it without giving discounts. But we only see one of those two things here for Fr0zen. It's not going to be enough. And oh yeah, you see lnguagehackr. He looks happy about that. He's going to be able to get the early Octobot discount.
Yeah, it's not on the best stuff, but just having field contact like by itself, discounted can sometimes be good enough and has their Aug Merchant. Other option, and it looks like lnguagehackr was thinking about it, is to Secret Passage first, then get the discount with the Octobot to just dump more stuff from your deck. It's just looking for cheap. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's all free. It's all free. It's so good.
Wow. Yep.
Yep, that happens. Yep.
Yeah.
That one happens too. Oh, yep, that one's gonna happen too. Maybe another Wand Thief, perhaps.
Oh my god.
Second prize punter's a little bit awkward because you have to kill off his own stuff at that point. Having things on board is reasonable.
He just saves it, right? Because it's just going to stay in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, upside for Fr0zen is that he gets to clear this board, and at least a field contact wasn't discounted.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Fr0zen's actually got a pretty good pressure hand.
Yeah.
He's got like the double charge call, which he can start tempoing out if lnguagehackr does have some weaker turns, and even at like 5 or 6 drops, those are still pretty potent. And he just has the ability to keep building boards over and over again. So maybe he can catch a little bit of weakness from lnguagehackr. Oh, field contact shadow step.
It's so good. I mean, yes, Fr0zen does have that possibility. I think the downside that I'm seeing is potentially just it's going to have to be over quite a few turns because of the overload. The only thing that could help is completing the quest and the overdraft that's in hand to kind of keep those turns rolling. Mm-hmm. And is it going to be enough? Put on enough pressure.
We'll see.
Still feels a little slow. Look at the card difference in their deck size too.
Yeah, 6 cards deeper. The interaction between like Secret Passage and then Field Contact Shadow Step is so funny to me because you're just like you storm into this hidden cave or hole in the side of the mountain or behind the bookshelf, and you just grab a field contact and just march out of there with it. And it's just the best thing ever. Oh, jeez. I wonder if he feels comfortable like dumping his second Shadow Step here just to block Fr0zen's ability to tempo more stuff out next turn. It would draw 1 more card. He still has an Octobot left in his deck to discount the rest of the stuff in hand. And +2 on the spells next turn would be a pretty big deal. It could even allow his field contact to live. Gonna think about it.
Yeah.
Opt out. Okay.
Nope. Perpetual Flame. Divine Shield makes it awkward.
Yeah, if it just hits the field contact and nothing happens.
It never just hits the minion with 7 health, right? We didn't just see that last game. It never hits the Divine Shield first, right?
I can't get unlucky twice.
He's not falling for it. Trying to find something else. Oh, all right.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Okay, he gets it. Now he can unlock everything with the overdraft. Well, no, sorry, he's completing the first quest.
There is little time.
Wait, what?
Would he have been able to play the Zapper first?
Yeah,
And
also, I don't know why he wouldn't just Lightning Bloom overdraft the field contact first, and then Perpetual Flame. Because then it would have guaranteed, instead of having the chance of the Perpetual Flame hitting the Divine Shield, if he was going to overdraft it anyway. That turn was a hot mess. Because now, also, he can't double charge call next turn. Yeah, so if he had played the Zapper first and then overdrafted, he could double charge call next turn, which would at least make up for the fact that he gave himself a chance there to be heavily punished by not peeling off the Divine Shield first. So this has been, that was messy. And Language Hacker's laughing too. I'm trying to.
Efficient is sufficient.
Something specific he was trying to hit there.
Initiating overdrive.
Overdraw something? I don't think so. I was looking at what Fr0zen could have done. I didn't quite see. But yeah, now, like, double charge call here would have actually been not terrible, at least.
The storm is in me.
Oh, picking up the other Zapper, he gets to at least complete this part of the quest. Gets a 3/3. Not that Rogue necessarily cares about minions on the board, but it's there.
Yeah. And last cards in the deck for Language Hacker. A lot of, pretty much everything draws him a card. He can start things off with Shadow Step on the Octobot, and then activating that. This should be lethal. The growths will be free. He has enough spell damage to get it done because he still has one Ethereal Aug Merchant in the deck. It should be game over.
Yeah, I mean, this was just an incredibly great start from Language Hacker. And like you said, getting to Shadow Step the field contact out of that secret passage was chef's kiss. It was just great.
I'm almost out of cards.
Yeah, that was just
cards flying everywhere.
Clean game from Language Hacker's perspective. A good opening hand, made the best use of it, and just gets there. And now we get to wait.
Yeah.
For the bleeds to be drawn. You never concede in this position until you actually see like the final like not the final bleed come out, but enough spell damage and the bleeds being the only thing left, because there's always the chance that your opponent messes it up. We've seen it so many times on Grandmasters already where it's like, oh yeah, this is 100% guaranteed lethal, and then they end turn, flop it back over, and they're at like 7 health, and you're like, wait, what? What happened? So, but that was nice and clean from Language Hacker. 2-0 up in the series now, on the verge of a sweep here, and Fr0zen's Quest Shaman just not getting it done.
Yeah, it's struggling, and I feel like Lorinda's talked about this before. I'm pretty sure Subtle and Raven were talking about this earlier, but and you've said it's the master of 50-50s. It is not. It's not winning those 50-50s right now. It's not even winning the favorite.
Nope, it's not even winning like the 65% matchup. So he's in a rough spot. I wonder if he's going to queue it again. I wouldn't be surprised if he just changes things up a little bit just to kind of get fresh eyes on a new deck. Try his hands at that. But Language Hacker, only one deck remaining, and it is arguably the strongest deck in his lineup. I think this deck is just very difficult to beat. Even if you don't get the brutes early, if your opponent's not killing you by turn 6 or 7, the OTK can come online, and then you can deal a million points of damage from nowhere.
Yeah, this is fairly close of a matchup. I'd say maybe slightly Shaman favored, but brutes could make a huge difference. I think if Fr0zen's able to start just getting some bodies on the board that also don't just die to an immolation aura early, he could just continue to push some damage that Language Hacker can't really deal with, and maybe that's how he gets there.
Yeah. It's getting quest completion super fast. I'm actually surprised he threw away Feral Spirits.
That's kind of what I was thinking. The 3 health, I feel like, is actually pretty good.
Yeah, just putting things on the board, I feel like, is very good.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I'm going to look at the matchup spread here. I mean, it's a pretty low. It's a couple hundred game sample size, so not that low. Feral Spirit is the single highest win rate card in the matchup.
That doesn't surprise me.
When kept in the mulligan. So, yeah. Pretty interesting. But maybe he's looking for something even more powerful, like the ability to get even more stuff on board by having Lightning Blooms. Like Diligent Note Taker Lightning Bloom can lead to some pretty insane openings. But I feel like the usual follow-up to those things is the Feral Spirits, because it's quite a flexible card in early game that gives you power from nowhere. So we'll see if he can piece something together. It does find Diligent Note Taker, but again, his ability to kind of get on board and keep it is limited at the moment.
Ooh, 0-mana Tusk Piercer looks pretty good for Language Hacker.
Got a Glide. It's got a Kurtrus primed already in outcast position. I mean, he's ready for the Feral Spirits that aren't even there.
He's probably expecting it, though, right? I feel like that's a reasonable thing to expect the Shaman to play on turn 3.
What to do?
Doesn't want to do instead.
Temple Fireheart. Oh, no.
Yeah, Language Hacker looks pretty happy about that. Landslide doesn't feel like it's doing much.
I mean, he can get another spell, but you can't even discover Lightning Bloom from Restricted Fire. Nope. So we'll end here. If he picks Feral Spirits, I'm done. All right, he picked Perpetual Flame. But even then, he's got a Perpetual Flame in hand. What does it do?
I see.
Oh,
Pleasure doing business.
that's a brute.
That is a brute.
Goes down to 2.
I suppose. Okay, well, Zapper plus double Perpetual Flame can clear off some brutes. I'm trying here. I'm trying to find the
This
thinking.
is true.
I'm trying to find the thoughts.
That's a fact.
Brute.
I grow impatient.
What about if you only want to kill one brute? I guess Spell Power plus double Perpetual Flame kills one brute as well.
Or the lightning bolts. Yeah. Or it's not, this brute isn't buffed, so spell damage plus a Perpetual Flame plus a trade with the Fireheart.
Yeah.
Overdraft can get to do something next turn.
What to do?
He just really needs to start ramping up the pressure right now,
Yeah.
I feel.
Repeat that.
He's gonna, I would assume Diligent Note Taker would want a Lightning Bolt over Perpetual Flame here since he's got both
yes.
already.
Okay.
All right.
I'll write that down.
Okay.
Kurtrus doesn't look terrible unless Language Hacker just wants to go for quest completion.
Yeah. That would stall a lot of the pressure, and he would leave something on board for him next turn to be able to like contest when he's actually completing the quest. That honestly is a tough decision because this isn't that much power compared to what Shaman can sometimes have on the board around this turn. So I wouldn't hate either thing here. I wouldn't hate going for quest completion from Language Hacker's perspective, and I wouldn't hate going for the Kurtrus, but does decide to go for quest completion, which is perfectly fine. Oh no. Oh, never mind. He has the Touch Fearful Swing to be able to
Yep.
complete the quest. Okay.
I can do it kind of one of two ways here, but I'd imagine he wants to probably trade off the Viper.
You're doing business.
Oh, he traded the... He traded the Peddler off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Means that it's in his deck if he draws like second Tusk Piercer or something along those lines.
I mean, I feel like he could still have saved that for later. Getting the discount on the Peddler is not as relevant as maybe getting a discount on the Guild Trader, so maybe it doesn't necessarily matter which one he trades in the spot.
Yeah. Well, Moses finally got things on the board, but his hand is looking incredibly mediocre, I would say. Charge Call, good. It's at a 5 cost right now, so you can make that. You can beef that up with some Perpetual Flames if Language Hacker gives him some minions to kill. But at this point, he's still quite a ways off from like getting to Brucon to try and go for anything like that, and he's also got some pressure on board, but still not enough to threaten Language Hacker enough to make him deviate fully from the game plan, especially since Language Hacker's got like Immolation Aura if he really wants to try and clear. Oh, never mind. I was like, oh, he could double Kurtrus, but no, he can't because one's discounted by the Illidari studies.
Yeah, that would be fantastic, though, if there was enough mana for that. But enough mana to Immolation Aura and play out one Kurtrus, which is still good enough to clear the board.
Mm-hmm.
And at that awkward 4 health, the single Perpetual Flame still does nothing.
But that's where 2 of them come in. Here we go.
Whoa.
He could play a lot of stuff here with this Lightning Bloom. I imagine a Charge Call is on the table, but I wonder if he wants to go even further. Nah. Oh, no. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. This is where Fr0zen starts to get a board.
Overwhelming.
This is spicy.
That's big.
Yeah. That's going to be pretty difficult for Language Hacker to answer.
I mean, I would verge on impossible for Language Hacker to answer, and this is kind of where Language Hacker's like decision tree on last turn to again forego quest completion, though he wouldn't have even had an opportunity to get it out. Oh, can go Morg Immolation Kurtrus, and it isolates a minion and will be able to attack it twice because it's both the left and the rightmost minion. This is insane.
Fr0zen tried. He tried to get back in there, and it just wasn't still enough. Which one does he start with? Dungeoneer. More Perpetual Flames.
Yep. I mean, this will be a Brucon completion, and Fr0zen will be able to get Brucon down before... Oh! Actually, yeah, no, he wants to totem up. He doesn't want to give Language Hacker an opportunity to glide the Brucon away, because that is now his win condition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. The Viper's getting traded off. There's a brute.
Oh.
Another Clyde.
He really doesn't want to give Fr0zen more cards at this stage of the game. This has been tough. And now, unless he picks up more draw from the Spectral Sight, since it's only a single draw, he won't even be able to complete the quest this turn. So he might have to glide. The other option would be like Moarg Fellscream Blast this turn, but that seems...
Yeah, just a Spectral and the glide that's not outcasted. Okay, or he picked up more draw. All right.
Okay.
Oh, Philosophy? Does he want to Philosophy the Brute?
Then he can't play it.
He can't play it, but it does set up more Brutes in his hand. Maybe he just saves the Philosophy for Moarg for more damage in the coming turns.
What's the best way to go about this? I don't know if he wants to overload for too much, but I don't know if there's a better way around it. So he Lightning Bolts face, then plays Brucon, and then plays a Perpetual Flame, and no matter what happens, that'll clear the board.
Yeah. It just feels like the best way to go about it.
The elements unbound of the Lord.
Be overloaded for 4 next turn, which doesn't leave him with much, but he knows that Language Hacker has to play the Curtress this turn, and there's still some potential outs for lethal from Fr0zen's perspective, unless Language Hacker heals up here, because he's got 8 damage on board. He would just need one of the 3 damage spells in order to finish things off.
Okay. Yeah, Language Hacker getting some life gain, though. That might prevent just the one of for Fr0zen to find an out. Oh, guidance? How many Perpetual Flames are we going to see this game?
I don't know. That is a lot. And this is like really one of the only situations. Oh, that is damage.
Ooh, that's a lot of damage.
Those are damage. But how do you go about it? Dunk Tank, there's not a single card in his deck that can actually corrupt the Dunk Tank. And he really...
Oh, yeah.
And these things take double damage from me, so this is 6. Yeah. So this is actually a clear, right? No matter what? Yeah, it's a clear no matter what, just with Perpetual Flame. Oh, no, not no matter what. If it kills the Moarg first...
Okay. It's gonna Marsh spawn? Oh.
Always little time.
Because Perpetual Flame is one of the the only spells that actually resolves outcomes mid-cast.
Yeah.
Because it says if it kills a minion, then recast this. So it resolves the first one, and then resolves the second one. Yeah, so it kills the Moarg first, and then it only deals the 3 damage to the Curtress. So then he has to trade it off again. And that's actually a huge deal, because now he knows he has to push this 8 damage to face because he only has a limited amount of mana next turn and can't afford for Language Hacker to be at 18 life.
Because attacking face now sets up for that lethal. He will have 5 mana to use, so he can play the Dunk Tank and the Lightning Bolt.
I got it all.
Just 14? Yeah, 14. All right.
Nope.
Well, he's going to get rid of that burn. Fr0zen could draw into more burn, though. Note taker, investment opportunity. Oh no. Oh, overdraft is sick.
Pleasure doing business.
Wait, that's lethal.
I was like, wait, that's just gonna be okay. Oh no, wait.
No, that's a million damage. That's double Moarg plus double spell damage. It's 32 plus. He even has 7 on board that he can attack in, or 36. Sorry, so that was 43 damage. I think he even had lethal with just the 1 Moarg, right? Because plus 2 spell damage doubled. It would have been 6, 18 plus the 7 on board. No, it was a little off actually, because he could have squeezed in a hero power. I don't even know what health he was at anymore. It's gone.
There was a possibility for Fr0zen to have found his own lethal there if he wasn't dead. But yeah, lnguagehackr just able to pull all the pieces together. But wow, what a series. Another sweep.
Has 3 sweeps today and 1 3-1. So, you know, not a sweep, but as close as you can get to a sweep without actually being a sweep. And Quest Shaman just letting Fr0zen down today, to be honest. Had some awkward Perpetual Flame outcomes in multiple games. That last one specifically, right? Leaving that 7 damage on board, it actually wouldn't have mattered, but it certainly could have in some situations. So, and now, there you go. It's solidified. Nobody's bringing Quest Shaman ever again to Hearthstone Grandmasters. It's been a good run. It's been a good run, Quest Shaman.
Yeah, it's just not lining up very well into the decks that everybody is bringing. But these are our America's top 8 for this week, number 5. And it's going to be pretty interesting. Fled, I'm looking at this matchup specifically. Fled versus Monsanto. All right, Fled won 2-0 in his group. Monsanto's been kicking butt. I don't know. I want to see that. I'm excited.
Yeah, also just their 2 characters of personalities, and it's always fun seeing what Fled